Mobile phone navigation apps. Everybody's got an opinion on them, and I'm no exception. However, that opinion has changed quite dramatically over the past 12 months, and I think it's going to surprise you. For decades, I've been a huge champion of the mantra that if you're going into the great outdoors, you're venturing off the beaten track, that you should be carrying a physical map and a physical compass and have the skills to be able to use them. And I still absolutely stand by that. However, about 12 months ago, I read something online that completely changed my perspective on this. It completely shook that belief system that I'd built up for years and decades right to the core. It completely changed the way I think about how we should be talking to people about what equipment they should be using to navigate in the great outdoors. About 12 months ago, I read a Twitter thread that was started by a guy called Ian. I'll drop a link to that Twitter thread below this video in the YouTube description so you can see the full conversation. And in this Twitter thread, several things were kind of brought up either by Ian or by people replying that really made me stop and think. And it's a combination of three things really that's led to me rethinking how we position and how we talk about using mobile phone navigation apps. The first thing that sprung out to me was Ian made a really good point, and he said, for years and years and years and years, professional outdoors people, professional outdoor organisations and bodies, emergency services, the police, mountain rescue, have been telling people that if you're going to go outdoors, off the beaten track, that you should take a physical map and compass with you and have the skills to use it. That message has been out there for decades. People are still going out there into the hills, not taking a physical map and compass and or the skills to be able to use them. So we've been pushing the message. It'll land with some people, it doesn't land with everybody. We could just carry on saying the same thing over and over and over again and expect the light bulb to come on, or we could look back at all the data points throughout history and think, you know what, we keep saying it over and over again. We've found new and inventive ways of saying it. We're using the internet to say it now so we can reach the masses at the touch of a button at no cost in a really vibrant, dynamic way, still not hitting home with the majority of people. So that was the first thing that hit home with me. We've been saying this message for a long time. People, not everybody, but a lot of people are still ignoring that message. That hit home with me. The second thing that really struck home in this thread was the mention that, or the suggestion, and I think it's completely true, although there was no data to back it up, that a lot of the people that go out into these hills and other hills and outdoors generally without a map and or compass and or the skills to use them are probably casual walkers. They're probably bank holiday weekend adventurers. They're probably fine weather explorers. They're probably not the sort of person, probably like you and I are, that will naturally think of having those skills and equipment in their back pocket to be able to use them. They'll just wake up on a weekend, great weather, and they'll decide to go into the great outdoors and have an adventure and explore. And we shouldn't be discouraging that, of course. We want people to enjoy the great outdoors, but they're probably not the person that's going to stop on the way to the hills and think, I know, I'll buy a map and compass en route. Oh, and by the way, I'll just download all of, years and years of knowledge into my brain on how to use them. It's not going to happen, is it? It just isn't going to happen. They're going to go out, they're going to have some fun. A lot of the time, they're going to get away with it. Some of the time, and it's kind of the reports that we hear when mountain rescue and fatalities occur, they're not going to get away with it. So that second point about the fact that even if the message is heard by the casual walkers, the bank holiday weekend explorers, the fair weather adventurers, realistically, are we genuinely expecting them to pick up a map and compass and the skills to use them at the drop of a hat? I think that's completely unrealistic. Let me talk about the third thing that really hit home with me from this Twitter thread, and it was this notion that we should stop rubbishing, we should stop decrying, we should stop poo-pooing, we should stop looking down on mobile phone navigation apps. We should stop saying shouldn't be using apps, should be using map and compass, and turning our back on the notion of using mobile phone navigation apps. As I've said earlier in this video, there's a ton of people that will never buy a map and compass. There's probably more people that will never invest the time and potentially money to learn how to use that map and compass. We are turning our backs on a lot of people if we exclude mobile phone navigation apps from our conversations. What I think we should be doing, and when I say we, I don't know what I mean by we, national governing bodies, things like that. What I think we should be doing instead is, and I'm applying this to the UK, I think you can take exactly the same plan and apply it to your own geography, your own territories. We should be researching which cross-platform Android and iOS apps are the most accurate, the most reliable, the most trusted, the most sustainable, the most updated, which are the best apps out there. We should be researching those. And in the same breath that we're saying to people, you really should be taking a physical map and compass and the skills to use them out on the hill, in that same breath we should say, however, if you're not going to do that, here are the apps that we recommend. On top of that, layering on top of that, we should be providing free online training for those apps, so that we're not just pointing people in the direction of an app, we're explaining to people how they should really use it. Not how they should use it from the app developer's perspective, but how they should use it from an outdoors person's perspective. What things do they need to look out for? What do they need to consider? What should and shouldn't they necessarily put their lives on in terms of the mobile phone navigation information that it's giving you? We should be signposting the apps. We should be educating around the use of the apps. That'll take some money. That's not free. It's not probably as expensive as you might think, because I work in the online learning world. So whilst it's not free to set up and maintain, I'm hazarding a guess it will be far cheaper than just one mountain rescue team call out that involves mountain rescue, police, ambulance service, air assets, potentially NHS, National Health Service assets at the end of that casualties journey, hopefully. Add all of those together and I can guarantee you educating people around online apps and sourcing those apps and signposting people to those apps will be infinitely cheaper than just one big scale mountain rescue team call out. All of that, I think, as well, what we should also be doing on top of that is we should be looking at our mountain leader type and the other qualifications that go with it. There's others that escape me at the moment. We should be looking at those syllabus and considering whether we introduce and talk about, and I'm not sure if we do at the moment, it's been decades since I did mine, but I don't think we do. We should be educating people through the syllabus about the pros and cons of navigation apps, talking about them openly, not shying away from them, talking about the elephant in the room. I go out every now and then for a CPD guy with a guy called Mike Rain, who lives in this area actually. We do a lot of CPD sessions around Snowdonia on different aspects. I've been on 3 or 4 of them so far, and on every single one of them, Mike stops us and we have a chat about mobile phones, navigation apps. If we're using one, we get it out and we talk about the pros and cons. We have a group discussion. We have a bit of a laugh and a joke about how close we all are, or equally how separate that some of the apps might suggest that we are. We look at how it's tracked our progress and the inaccuracies or accuracies in that. He confronts the issue head on. Mike tends to run his sessions for already qualified mountain leaders. Tends to. I think he probably accepts other people. But what I'm saying is we need to introduce that conversation much earlier in people's outdoor qualifications and careers, etc. Not leave it until people are already old and crusty like me. So there's me summing up there. What do you think? I've changed my mind in the last 12 months as a result of that Twitter thread. I've changed my mind quite significantly. I want to be really clear here. I personally still advocate the number one optimal solution for navigating in the outdoors, physical map, physical compass skills to be able to use them. But I'm no longer turning my back on the notion or the thought or the application of mobile phone navigation apps. I'll always consider physical stuff as the primary, but I am very open, as hopefully this video is doing, in sharing why I think we should take a different approach to it. It's 2023. People are enjoying the outdoors, I would suggest, more than they ever have done, possibly because of lockdown, maybe because of financial situations. Let's not exclude those people that will never buy a map and compass, never invest the time and effort and skills needed to use it. How can we fast track, not to the same level, but to an acceptable level, and make them safer in the outdoors? There are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. If you've not come across my channel before and you're interested in navigation generally, then check out the playlist that's appearing in the top corner of the screen now. There's close to 60 videos in there, all about navigation. Some of them very basic, some of them more advanced. Everybody tells me that they're a great set of videos. If you've not checked them out yet, why not go and do that? Thanks for watching, folks. Take care. Cheers.